What is up, you guys? If this is recording, yeah, it's recording. What is up, you guys? Yesterday was 4th of July. Today's the 5th, and we are doing 3 disturbing true Snapchat stories, Volume 2. Thank you, Mr. Nightmare. Thank you, Mr. Nightmare. Hopefully all of your video. Let's get into the video.
It was 2015. My little sister and I, along with a few of her friends, were going camping in a forest in Maine. I couldn't tell you the name of it. She wanted me to go because I'm older and more experienced with camping. But was it weird camping with a bunch of 14-year-old girls? Yes. I won't share my sister's name, but her friends were Casey, Barbara, and Lexi. My sister insisted I slept in a separate tent than her and her friends, and I was okay with that. So we brought 2 tents. Along with that, I packed the usual camping supplies: food, water, tools, and in my case, a rifle. I always take a gun with me while camping, just because I'm a paranoid guy, and I always want to feel protected while in the middle of the woods at night.
He's smart. Yeah, you should always take. Well, you have to have a permit, I think, to have a gun, to own a gun. Well, he's smart. Get a permit to own a gun, and just keep it for yourself. Don't let anyone use it, because they might betray you. Just don't. And if you just want to go fishing, go take the gun. Don't kill fish. Well, he's smart. He's just smart for protection. He's smart.
After a pretty long day, I helped the girls set up their tents. And then I worked on mine alone as they were all sitting in theirs, gossiping or talking about whatever 14-year-old girls talk about. When I finished, I put the fire out. Being the older brother, I of course felt responsible for my sister and her friends. So I moved the tent really close to theirs, turned on my reading light, and continued where I left off in the book I was reading. The chattering of the girls in the next tent over was a bit distracting. At one point I heard them talking about a certain boy. Then the conversation switched to Snapchat. I heard Casey mention that she didn't have Lexi on Snapchat and asked for her username. I really didn't mean to eavesdrop, but they were speaking pretty loud. Lexi gave Casey her snap, and about 5 to 10 minutes later, Lexi mentioned in a confused voice that some random person added her on Snapchat. I raised my head from my book a bit as my interest in what was being said suddenly increased. The other girls told Lexi to add the person to see who it was. A few seconds later, they were going on about how the person's Snapchat score was so low, only like 7. I was really paying attention now. Apparently the person sent a message saying, "Hi, send me a pic." And then the 4 of them left. At this moment they were kind of whispering and giggling, so I couldn't really hear what was said. But after they all erupted in laughter, I could only guess they sent some kind of funny picture. After more silence, I got chills when I heard all of them scream. I grabbed my gun and ran outside to their tent. My sister screamed that there's someone outside of the tent. I shot the gun into the air 3 times as a warning, yelling into the woods at the same time. I then crawled into their tent where my sister hugged me. I of course asked what happened, pretending like I didn't already know half of it from listening to their conversation, and they explained everything. Lexi added the random person back, who then sent her the message mentioned earlier. As I suspected, she sent back an ugly group shot with her friends. The person then sent back a picture in response. It was a selfie picture of what they described as an old creepy dude, smiling at the camera, standing right in front of their tent. It gave me chills right down to the bone listening to their story. I was freaked out myself. They all wanted me to sleep in the tent with them that night, so I did. The next morning we cut the trip short and went straight for the car. What could have been a great weekend memory with my sister turned into the biggest nightmare of both of our lives.
That's scary. That's just wow. He was standing right in front of their tent.
I just recently got into the whole Snapchat thing. My friends urged me to get it since everyone else my age has one. I got into the groove of it pretty quickly, and within a week my score was already 1,000.
Wow.
One day while shopping, I took a picture of a pair of shoes that I knew one of my friends really liked and sent it to her on Snapchat. She opened it after a few minutes, but didn't reply back. I sent her a chat asking, "What do you think?" She opened this one much quicker, but didn't reply. I put on a sad face and took a selfie, captioned the picture, "What's up, why aren't you answering?" and sent it. She opened it immediately, this time replying in the chat, "Where are you?" I responded saying, "Home." Her Bitmoji was appearing in the chat, indicating she had the chat box opened. She replied saying, "Where is home?" I said, "What do you mean?" Then she said, "What is your address?"
Nah.
It was at that moment I knew something was up.
Nah.
I closed the chat box and drove over to my friend's house. Apparently she had lost her phone the previous day. She explained everything to me. I left after talking for a few minutes to go home. I pulled up to my house, and becoming a bit paranoid now, just looked around to make sure I wasn't followed or anything. Both of my parents were out of town, and my brother was out of state, so I was home alone for the night. That night when I was laying in bed checking my Insta and Snap before going to sleep, I remembered I could just check where my friend's Bitmoji was on the map to track the thief. So I opened up the Snap map. Her Bitmoji was right on top of mine, on top of my house. I dove to turn off my lamp and shut the blind. The fear made me paranoid. I started to question whether I locked the front door or even the back door. But that didn't matter, because when I heard sounds coming from downstairs, below my room, I knew someone was in the house. I tiptoed to my bedroom door to lock it, then called the police. The operator asked me to stay on the line with them until the police arrived. When they arrived, it turned out nobody was in the house. It was just my paranoia playing tricks on me. We found my friend's phone in the backyard, hidden under a bush, screen still on with the battery in the 60% range, meaning he couldn't have been gone for too long. The next day, I returned the phone to my friend, and my parents came home, so I didn't feel scared anymore. I will, however, keep my location private on Snapchat from now on, and I recommend you do the same.
So his friend tried to rob
This happened a week ago. Up until a few days ago, I went to a small, local gym in my now previous New Jersey town called Black Bear Fitness. One day, I had the misfortune of running into some skinny, awkward, yet creepy-looking kid, probably 18 years old. He didn't look like he belonged in a gym at all. I had headphones in and I was doing my set when I heard him saying something to me, but it was muffled by the music. I was already annoyed with this kid, given that he was breaking an unwritten rule of the gym. Don't try to talk to somebody when they're doing their sets. I took my time finishing my set, and then took my headphones out to ask if he needed something. Then he started acting like I looked familiar, but right away I knew this kid was just trying some pathetic attempt at making friends. I assured him I didn't, but the kid wouldn't stop talking to me. I'll skip most of the conversation, but eventually he actually asked me for my Instagram and Snapchat, weirdly enough, and for whatever reason I gave them to him. Instead of just saying something like, "Buddy, I'm trying to work out," or "I don't have social media." After I gave him my Snapchat and Instagram, however, I did kind of urge him to let me resume my workout. He finally seemed to get the message and walked away. Not without saying bye like 3 times though. That night I got a snap on my phone saying "from Sean." I immediately sighed and said, "Oh no." Just wondering why the hell the kid would snap me. I opened the snap, and the kid was in a creepy, weird pose, face way too close to the camera, with his head resting in his hand and a half smile on his face. The text over the picture was "Hey" with 2 Y's. I muttered the words, "What the fuck?" For the record, I'm a guy, which made this even more weird. My thought process was, I've had enough of this loser already. I'm gonna remove him and make it clear I don't want to talk if I I see him at the gym again. And so